Hey, welcome to Vibing with Vicky. I'm back. I know some of you have been missing me as I have been missing some of you, or shall I say all of you. I'm excited to be back, and as you can see, we have a new day and a new time. So I'm hoping that this worked better for everyone. Most of you know I started a new job, and I am now the city clerk of Niagara Falls, New York, and I'm also the director of youth and senior services. So that puts me out on a lot of Wednesdays where we having some late night meetings, some real important stuff. But I'm back here so we can reconnect and keep going and moving forward. I do want to remind you on weekdays at 6 o'clock p.m. On Mondays, we have Clearing the Mist with Ken Hamilton. Tuesday is Vibing with Vicky, and that's with myself, Vicky Whiteman. Wednesdays, Faith Matters with Dr. Nasir Khan. Thursdays is Keeping It Frank with Frank Hanley. And Friday is Mind Your Business with Naz. So I'm all excited. Please tune in to Naz 716 Studio so you can catch all these through the week. And I want your comments. Please comment, good or bad, right? I want to hear it all. So please put it out there. Let me hear what you have to say. Whether it's about this show today, any of my past shows, if you pull it up in archives and check out where we have been going. I'm all about us moving forward, keeping it positive, and doing what we have been called to do. I want to see everybody reach their destiny. That's what I'm looking for. So please tune in to Naz 716. Hit me with your comments today. And we will be live from hopefully this day forward on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock p.m. Pass the word, Vibing with Vicky. You know what? We can do it. And I want to start off by saying that to you. We can do it. There's a scripture that we say, as a man thinketh, so is he. And I want to work with that. How are we thinking? It's been some things going on this week. It's been some things going on in my family, my personal life. And I just want to get to that. A lot of ladies that I've talked to, young women, older women. How is your thinking? Let's check that for a moment. You know, what have you wrapped your mind around? What have you believed about yourself, right? So everybody know I love basketball and I love sports. And when the Olympics is going on, I am tuned in. It's something about those people running track that I really tune into them because I know when it comes to sports that they do a lot of training and it takes a lot of mental strength. And we talked about that. Thanks, Malik. I'm so glad to see you tuned in. My brother is back. Yay. Thanks. Thanks, Naz. Thank you. I miss you too. Yes, I'm glad to be back. Thank you. Keep the love coming. How is your thinking? That's right. Let's talk about that. I want to know how that is. So I want to start off by thanks, family. Glad to see my brother-in-law Al Wiggum on the line on the Facebook today. Thank you for tuning in and hit me with all those comments. So we're going to start today with a guy by the name of Montiel Mitchell. I like Montiel, and I have been watching the Olympics this week, and I'm really watching these people with their mental strength and how they're getting around that track and the things that they're saying after the interview. So I'm sure I'll be bringing up some of those names as the time go on. But Montiel Mitchell, he sticks out to me, and I'm going to tell you why. He said that he trained hard. He couldn't wait for this day. And one of the things that his mother said to him throughout the training, now it was his mom who said this to him. She said, listen, I don't care what you've got to have faith. You got to focus. And no matter what, you got to finish. I want to stop right there for a minute because too many times, we start doing a good work and we don't finish. Okay, because guess what? We run into a barrier. Oh, but I'm going to keep on talking about Montiel. He out there, right? He got the baton. He got to make it. And all of a sudden, he goes down. He slows down. Something happens to his leg. He didn't know what it was. Hey, cousin. It's one of my cousins. She done relocated to South Carolina. That's another cousin. Hey, Monica. I'm glad you watching tonight, girl. And so Montiel, he got the baton, right? And he got to pass it. But his leg is giving out on him. And they said, oh, my God. We had the guy saying, hey, something is going on with Montiel. He had a good run going. Is he going to be able to pass that baton? Because when he passes the baton, he qualifies his team. And I want to pause right there and say, somebody got to qualify your family. Somebody is waiting for you to pass that baton. Somebody is waiting for you to finish. Back to Montiel. Montiel is hitting around that track and he going down, but now he's slowing up. But guess what? He finally passes that baton to the next man. And when they interviewed Montiel when it was over, you know what he said? They said, what happened to you out there? I don't know. My leg went down. When the medics came out, they said he broke his leg. He broke his leg. And they said, how in the world, when they interviewed him when it was over, how in the world was you able to finish with a broken leg? He said, my mother said 3 words to me: faith, focus, finish. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what happens in between all of that. In between all of that, that barrier is waiting to stop you, waiting to block you, waiting to discourage you. I'm talking from personal experience. But you got to have faith, you got to focus, and you got to finish. What are you focusing on? The outcome. What is the outcome I'm looking for? What is it I'm waiting to do? What is it I'm trying to accomplish? And I use this at work. I use it with my family. I use it, I don't care what. You know what? I got a goal in mind. And so let's start right there. That's right. He didn't give up, Malik. You are absolutely right. Okay, that's right. Thank you, Alicia. Faith, focus, finish. That's it. We got to. What is your goal? What was you looking to do? You know, what did you go to school for? What did you okay, let's talk about school for a moment. I was out there and they was like, I don't know if you'll be able to do it. I had a bishop tell me, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Figure, okay, she's going back to school. She's older. She's not going to be able to keep up with those older, younger people. But it was something burning on the inside. And I said, no, I know what it is I got to do. I seen it. Once you catch that picture, that's it. Montiel Mitchell, he had the picture of him winning the race. Even though he didn't win, he passed that baton. So his team came in. They were able to be in that race. Even though his leg was broken, he had something to keep him going. What is it you holding on to keep going? Keep going. Okay, you got to keep going. It's going to come. Obstacles is going to come. That's because of where you're going. That's because of the legacy you're going to leave behind. Don't you give up. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I want you to wrap your mind around this. Don't you give up. Oh, don't you give up. I was talking to my niece this week, and hey, thank you, Malik. Malik said, what is your why? Exactly. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this for mom? You know, are you doing this for yourself? Are you trying to qualify your family? You know, are you trying to break generational curses? You trying to bring in some new generational blessings? What is your why? I like that, Malik. Keep on talking to me, everybody. I like what you're saying. You know, it's been times where, you know, my people know that my son is a music producer. Right now, he just collected his 10th platinum. You don't think he got discouraged? We had him on the show, and I will bring him back again. But when he got discouraged, I said, this is no time to give up. You came too far. All right, I'm going to talk about Gabby Douglas for a minute. She was making history, being a young black Olympic star out there doing her, what is the thing I'm looking for? Anyway, she was out there doing her thing, and she said that when she was training, she was away from home. She had to leave home. She had to be away from her family. And when she got there doing gymnastics, she was a top gymnast and making history as a black gymnast as well, young, being the youngest one out there. And she got discouraged. And she called home. She got homesick. If you ever been away from home, trust me, you'll have those moments. Because I've had those moments. She got homesick. She called her mom and she said, I can't do this. Her mother said, what? She said, I can't do this, Mom. I want to come home. You know, I don't like being away from everybody. And if you anything like I am, holidays are real important to, you know, to family. You know, I just love being around my family on holidays and getting together in the summertime and having our cookouts and stuff. So, you know, her mother said, wait a minute. You talked about this over and over again. How many times did we talk about this? How many times did you share with me your dream? How many times did you say you want to be the top gymnast and you want to set new goals and, you know, higher heights than other people have ever hit? How many times have you said that? I believe you have what you say. I thank you, Alicia. Said, I can see it. That's why I keep on going. That's my girl right there, Dr. Alicia Scott. That's right, girl. You know, and her daughter, you know, Dr. Jalisa, you know, They know about that push. Shanita, that's my cousin. Glory to God. That's right. You know, how many times do you feel like giving up? You know, Malik said you're talking, changing the family generations of wealth. That's right. We have to be those ones. That's why you hearing this message today. It's on you. She said, I'm doing it for generations present and generations to come. My girl, that's right, Dr. Scott. We have to. We have to. Me and the producer of this show, we just taught some youth about a month ago. We were teaching these youth. And boy, it was kind of challenging. Because we seen where the youth are losing respect for even having careers, losing respect for seniors. So I'm getting ready to do a program in the city of Niagara Falls called Bridging the Gap, so I can have the youth working with the seniors. I was talking about it today in my budget meeting, because it's all about looking out for our future generations. Guess what? If not now, when? And if we don't, who? I just want to hit y'all with that. If not now, when? And if we don't, who? Who are you counting on to raise your children? Who are you counting on to speak that word into your grandchildren? Who? It has to be us. And I could have gave up. And the producer, honest, he could have gave up and said, you know what, I'm done. Whew. These kids was, just very close to borderline, being, I don't know, almost juvenile delinquents if we don't catch them now. Back to Gabby Douglas, right? So her mother said, no, you spoke that dream. You have what you say. Expect obstacles to come. I'm not picking you up. I'm not sending for you to come home. I'm not going to make it easy. So in other words, if she came home, she's going to have to figure it out on her own. She said, is this what you really going to do? Did you work this hard to get this far, to let this go? I want to tell people I'm a change agent. And I know that I've been called to be a change agent, which means I know I've been called to go into different avenues and different environments and bring change. And I know how to stand against change. And I just want to say, as I was coming up as a young lady, it was a lot going on in my household. And I was like, I don't even know how to deal with all of this. And I can't deal with people rejecting me. But guess what? I learned how to deal with rejection. I learned how to deal with ejection. Ejection is worse than rejection, because with rejection, you don't even get in, right? They don't even let you in with the crowd. But with ejection, you in, and now you kicked out. You're being ostracized. And these are the people you once was so cool with. But guess what? Egos get rejected and ejected. You can't get along with everybody. You can't fit in with everybody. Your conversation is not for everybody. Eagles can only mingle with eagles. Eagles only fly with eagles. You don't see eagles with brown birds. I want to talk about a few more eagles, all right? Somebody else that stood out to me was Henry Ford. That's right, of Ford Motor Vehicles. Henry Ford, if you know anything about me, I love American history. I can watch and listen to American history all day long. Why? Because they're so motivating. I look at how these people have forward thinking. I want to pause right there and say, do you have forward thinking? Where do you see yourself going? How do you want to leave your mark? Get up and do something. Get up and do something. Stop talking about it. Let's do something about it. I'm involved in a situation now where we're getting ready to have a big panel discussion here. And this is not the old-fashioned revival. We bring a revival in a different way. Why? Because I'm tired of people getting information, okay, not making a transformation, and we don't see a manifestation. I said, we got to come at people a different way. We got to make sure they get that information, make that transformation, so we can see the manifestation of what happened when they received that information. Because it's time for us to reach down and grab the people. And I tell people, when I'm extending my hand, I'm extending it to pull you up, get you out of that hole, not to push you back down. I'm all about professional development. I'm all about giving people information to get them to that next level. I'm not trying to close doors. Back to Henry Ford. Henry Ford said, I got this great idea. I got to go to the top bankers, and I got to pitch this idea to them, because the bankers at that time, they was holding all the money. And they was like, every idea went through these bankers. They had their hand in every pot. And that's why they kept getting richer. So he said, that's okay. I'm going for it. So he went to them. And what did they do? They shut him down. There was 3 heavy hitters. And they shut his idea down. And he was like, wow, y'all didn't even give this a chance. And so he walked out of there. He took his hat. He said, that's okay. It ain't over. He said, that's what he said. It's not over yet. So he's out while he's thinking this thing through. He runs into this guy. Can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry. My memory escapes me right now. And he said, listen, if I race you and I win, because this man was a very rich man. He said, if I race your car and my car win, then you're going to lend me the money to manufacture my car. But if my car lose, then I have to pay you. The guy said, really? It's a bet. It's a deal. They get out there. They race their cars. Henry Ford won. This man backed Henry Ford's new ideal. And guess what his ideal was, everyone? The assembly line. Love it, Daniel. Daniel said, change yourself to change others. That's what I'm talking about. He came up with the assembly line. And guess what? Just because he had that idea doesn't mean he owned that one idea. Because other people say, oh, I don't know. You know, he doing the assembly line. I don't want to do it. But I'm so glad Hershey didn't think of that, because Hershey took on the assembly line. That's right. And what is those motorcycles, Harveys? They took on the assembly line. So sometimes one good idea can explode in so many other areas. And not only did Henry Ford come up with the assembly line, but the producer here also told me that he came up with doing the weekends, and he was the first employer to build a hospital for his employees. So when they got sick, he took care of them. So they got nursed back to health so they can get back on the assembly line. So because they had the assembly line, he could make more cars, because before it took them a month or so to get 100 cars, but he was getting out 100 cars in a week because of the assembly line. Stop thinking your ideal is too minor. You might be sitting on a gold mine because you listen to brown birds saying it can't happen. That assembly line is still happening today. He is still a very rich man. Pass money on from generation to generation. And that's what I want to do. It's not too late. I started off talking about when I went to school. Went back to school as a much older adult. Now I have my master's degree. I'm a licensed master social worker, getting ready to take my exam. And many of you heard me say this before, to be a licensed clinical social worker, because I had friends who were eagles, and they ruled out every one of my excuses. They smashed them down and said, get up, Vicky. Do something. Don't you settle for this. And it's better you get up and do something, because to get up and do nothing, from the words of Joy Bryant, he said, is to fail. To get up and do nothing, to do nothing rather, is to fail. Get up and do something. I challenge you right now today. If you're talking about writing that book, if you're talking about starting your own business, whatever it is you want to sell. My cousin, she has all these serious vegetables. You want to start your own outside market, cuz? Start your own outside market. You don't know who would be interested in buying her vegetables. Her vegetables look so delicious when I see them on Facebook. I'll be wanting to grab through the screen and get some. But whatever it is, don't think it's small. I have nieces who can do hair. You best believe when I see them this weekend, I want to motivate them to take a hold of that and do something with it. Everybody can't do academics, but you can do something. You know, you might be that motivational speaker, whatever it is. You might be the best coach ever. Get up and do something. Get rid of your stinking thinking. You are so right, Sanita. Get rid of your stinking thinking and you'll excel. I got a cousin that's out there now flipping houses. She got up and she did something. And I believe that that's going to open more doors and more doors and more doors. And guess what? I don't want to stop there. I don't want to stop there, because another person I want to talk about is Kentucky Fried. He too had the door slammed in his face 7 times, he said. 7 times he kept going to people with his recipe. And he's like, no. Finally, somebody gave him a chance. And that's how Kentucky Fried Chicken was birthed out, which is now KFC. Just because one person doesn't like it, just because one door closed, just means that's not the one. Believe in yourself. I'm talking about you believing in you. I'm talking about positive thinking. Yes, you're going to get doors closed, but that don't mean that it's over. It just means it's still on delay. But I'm going for it. Go for this thing. Okay, another person I want to put out there to remind you of, who went out there and they pressed and they pressed and they pressed. And this is one of my favorite stories. This lady said she made so many mistakes on her job. She said, oh my God, I'm going to lose this job. if I don't do something about all these mistakes, what am I going to do now? And what happened to her? She was married. Her husband was in the service. And while he was away in the service, he was in World War II, as a matter of fact. And he had a relationship with the lady overseas and had a baby. So when he came back and he seen his wife, he told her about it. So she was like, you know what? If you couldn't wait for me like I waited for you, then we don't have a marriage. So they divorced. Now she has a son by this man, and she has to take care of her son, and she was also caring for her mother. Her father dies at the same time, and now she got to close out her father's business, take on the house, so everybody is in the one house that the father owned. She didn't know what to do with all the mistakes, and she had to have this contract done by the next day. She goes into the kitchen. She gets some flour. No, I'm sorry. She had a second job. Her second job was painting windows, because back then they did everything with the window scenes. And so that's what she did as a part-time job. She said she took some of the white paint that she had, and she said, let me just put a little bit over this mistake. And she put a little bit over that mistake. And she seen that it covered it so good. And she said, I'm going to just put some of this. She had some nail polish bottles. And she said, I'm going to put some of this paint in this nail polish bottle, and I'm just going to perfect it just a little bit. Put a little more something in there to make it a little more looser so it won't be too heavy on the paper. And this lady is known as none other than Betty Graham. She is the person who discovered and who made whiteout. She became a millionaire. Yes, she did. And she sold it to GE. That's right. GE ended up buying the whiteout and took it to the next level, because it was called Mistake Out at first. And it's on her job. People seeing how well she was doing and how her boss was so impressed. Other secretaries from all over. It's nothing like word of mouth. If you're doing something and you do it good, word of mouth is going to get out there. People are going to hear about what you're doing. And so other secretaries heard about it, and they said, and she was telling them how to make it. She was giving away her money. And they said, no, we don't want to make it. You make it for us. I like that. Thank you, Alicia. Dr. Scott said failure isn't an option. Just staying down isn't one either. That's right, my girl. It's not an option. And no, you can't stay down. Ken Hamilton said they said to each other, why stay here until we die? If we say we'll go into the city, the famine is there and we'll die. If we stay here, we will. That's right. So we might as well get up and do something, Ken. You are absolutely right, Ken. Don't just stay here and die. So guess what? They told her, if you make it for us, we'll buy it. We'll buy it if you make it. So she would go home and make bottles after she did her work. Eventually, she gave up the little part-time job of painting. And before she knew it, she had a whole business going on in her home. And I'm going to tell you something else you need when you get ready to step out on the water. You need a good support network. Don't just sit there and hog it all in. Start networking with people. Her mother was a major support for her. Her mother said, guess what? I'm going to watch your son while you do your business, so you don't have to worry. Because any good mother, when you're doing your business, you always worried about your children. Are they going to be fed? I want to make sure they make it home. I don't want anybody doing anything to them and sowing in the wrong negative words in my child's ear. So her mother said, I got you. I need somebody to say, I got you. Don't you let me drop. Don't you let me fall. I need you to hang in there with me, because I'm going to hang in there with you. Malik said word of mouth is everything. Still to this day. You are so right, Malik. It is. We can do it, and we will do it. We're going to get up and we're going to do something, and we're going to make a difference in whatever city we are in right now. I intend to leave a mark here in Niagara Falls. And everywhere I go, everywhere my feet go, I want to leave a mark. And I need somebody to walk with me. And Alicia, I got you. Dr. Scott, I'm going to support you. To my cousins out there, Monica, I'm going to support you. All of y'all, I'm going to support you. Get up and do something. To my brother-in-law, you got this. Start that business. You got this. And don't let fear keep you from making your step. And I want to say this. You know what? I don't major on missteps. Let's focus on our next step. Don't major on missteps. Focus on your next step. Because yes, I started college at one time, and no, I didn't do good. And I was like, I got to drop out. I got to do this. I got to do that. So much was going on in my life, and I could have focused on that misstep and never made my next step. Come on, somebody. Let's take that next step together. I just want to remind you every day at 6 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday, you can tune in right here at Naz 716 Studios. On Monday, we have Clearing the Mist with Kim Hamilton. Tuesday is myself vibing with Vicky. Wednesday is Faith Matters with Dr. Nasir Khan. Thursday is Keeping It Frank with Frank Hanley. And Friday is Mind Your Business with Naz. I love it. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. And I thank you for joining me in with Vibing with Vicky. I'll see you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Thank you, cuz. She got me.